Gypsy? Hey, girl, what are you doing? What you doing in here, huh? You know there's going to be an unboxing? You're not allowed to open this one either. No. This one's got some things in it that you could really mess up. So, I'll do it. And then maybe you could play with the empty box later. Alright. Got this from High Point Scientific. Their website's killer. They have everything. I mean, they're out of a lot of cameras right now, but I'm sure it's because the companies are trying to keep up. Seems like a lot of you are taking up astrophotography and learning to do stuff that is overwhelming their system. So that's great to hear. That's a great hobby. There. Taped up good too. Got a little mashed on one side over here, but that ain't a big deal. Looks like it's pretty well packed. So, yeah, pull that one out first. Alright. There we go. What we got here is a guide scope. It's called an Orion Starshoot 50mm guide scope. Real simple. This is where you can probably save a little money. You can go buy the best one that you can find, but I don't know. A lot of the guys on the forums and stuff that use these say that they really like them. Got a little hardware pack. Looks like everything's in there. There's a spacer and some clips and the mounts to get it on the telescope. And you can see it's made pretty nicely. Got a metal bracket, pretty sturdy. Nice lens. And that lens is the camera that's going to watch space, and that's going to actually track your mount for it, following the stars instead of just guessing with motors running, which is what happens with the big telescope out there. Is, you know, it's an alt-az mount, and alt-az mounts, they don't stay as aligned, and they like to have like little steps, and sometimes they'll even drift. This is what's going to keep whatever's on that mount from drifting. So that's the best way to go. So we'll take care of this little pack, and I'm going to rewrap this up with the instructions, because we're not going to need that right away. We got another accessory to open up here. So that's there. That looks like it's probably never been opened. Doesn't look like it's been opened before. Woo. Packaging. 50. Woo! Alright, this is the Star Shooter camera. This is actually what mounts to the back of that telescope. And girl, you got something to tear up. It comes in this cool little tin. Like something old-fashioned from down at the drugstore. But I can see why you want to keep it in something nice like that. Really nicely packed. Perfectly cut foam. It's just sitting in there really nicely laying on that. Cables are underneath another layer of foam. 2 different cables. One of them's power, one of them's a serial cable that's going to take the signal up. This looks like a pretty nice little nice camera. You can see the sensor right there. I mean, pretty decent size actually. You could probably take some pretty nice pictures with something like that. So, we'll get this little guy put back in there. Put on that. Put on that. Everything fits neatly in this little metal box. That's really cool. So, yeah, Ryan, you did pretty good. It's a pretty neat setup. And I know if I bang that around in the van or in the RV when we're on the way somewhere, it ain't gonna get hurt. Pretty smart. So we got something else in here. What do we got in here? This is something that High Point had, and a few other places had it, but it was cost more. And I always thought the Williams Optics stuff was priced the same everywhere, but I saw it a little bit higher. But I was surfing around on High Point, and I found that they chatted with me and they were helpful, and so I thought I'd give my business. They have a really nice website too. So let's take this guy out of here. Get this here box. So this is from Williams Optics. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not. They make the Red Cat, the Space Cat, the ones that you see everywhere, everybody raves about. Well, this one, the guy named Travis, or Trevor, from Astro Backyard. Sorry, man. He has one, and he did a couple of videos on it, and how much he liked it. So I got one. It's called a Zenithstar 73. Got some nice anodized mounts, little carry strap. It's a pretty badass looking little piece of equipment here. Hard to believe that this is a telescope. I mean, it's basically a glorified telephoto lens, I guess. So that's why it looks kind of like a big lens. But it's a whole different setup than the Celestron C8. It's got different focusing mechanism, got a different kind of mount. You know, it's just all around strange to see something this small is going to work better than that monstrous telescope over there. And that's because of the f-stop. This has an f of 5.9. That's an f of 6.3 down from a 10 with a reducer. So that's not really that effective. So we picked this up to go on that AVX mount. And I mean, although it looks ridiculous, this tiny little telescope on this monstrosity of a mount, what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to get really, really still pictures with no movement. And this is going to be the optimum setup. If I were to just put my big Celestron tube on this and use it, the wind is still going to move it. It's just bulky and heavy. The motor has more trouble turning and lifting. This has the counterweight on it that we already discussed previously, so whatever a little bit this weighs with the other scope on it, the counterweight's going to balance out. I'll never need to put another counterweight on like I probably would with the OTA over there. So I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. It's got really cool blue anodized cap. This is a Batonov mask, and a Batonov mask is the one that you look through at the beginning of your session to focus with, and you look at the star diffraction through the Batonov mask and take a picture, and then you adjust your focus till it's at a perfect point. And this is a big point of DSO, because even if it looks good to you on the focus, this thing's way more, way more accurate than your eye. This is the Batonov mask is going to give you a perfect focus. So even if you don't have one of these that comes with one, get one. I have one for my Celestron 8 too. Every time I focus it, I put it on there, and I'm a tiny bit off. I've never gotten it perfect. So that's a monumental task, is to get good focus when you're zooming in way, way out. So it has a pretty basic 1¼ inch mount right there. I'm going to use my filters that I have to use my DSLR. These two mounts right here are adjustable with knobs. This is where you mount the telescope on it. This is where it mounts on that. I'll leave enough of this sticking out so that I can put my star sense on this underneath, and my star sense will actually track. So amazing. This was about 650 bucks. I mean, it's just, in the world of cameras, I guess when you get something big and heavy and substantial like this for 650 bucks, that's not too bad. Because I've seen lenses for 6,500 that didn't look any different than this. And this looks like a pretty nice piece of equipment. So I unboxed it. Next video you're going to see, I'm going to figure out how to put this together. I'm not going to waste my time trying to do it in front of you guys right now. But I'm going to get this all figured out, how it goes together, take it back apart, and then I'm going to slap it together for you, and we're going to do a video like that. Gypsy, come here. Here, baby. Hey, what you doing? Put the telescope together? Yeah? Oh gosh, you're doing a good job. Looks like a telescope. Yeah, nicely done. All right, well, I guess we're gonna figure this thing out. Here we go. All right, guys, check this out. This is the Williams Optics Zenithstar 73. This is a telescope. Hard to believe, but that's what it is. Got the Batonov mask built into the front cover. That's brilliant. Nice dew shield right here. You can slide that up and down each time, so it makes more room for when you store it. Got some nice heavy anodized matching brackets that we're going to use to mount the guide camera on top. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the guide camera lined up and get the right spacing on these so that the top piece that holds the guide camera can go on there. So the back one we have locked in. So it looks like we're pretty close to where we want to be. Alrighty. I got my screws ready right there. Got my pillow. My dog just farted. Anybody heard that? Put it in the comments. 1 through 10. What do you think, Gypsy? Let's see, I'm going to put this on the side over here where the logo is, and that should work out pretty good. At least look proper. Yeah, boy, they go all out on this thing. I mean, every little surface is polished and perfect. Just outstanding product and quality control. Hopefully it holds up to the rigors of what we're going to do with it, which isn't too much. Just lug it in and out of the house every night in the season. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Maybe want to snug these down a little bit. Sometimes you don't snug stuff down with telescopes, but when it comes to holding telescopes with other telescopes, you want to snug them down. All right, and now we're going to be able to put a screw in here. There's another one that goes in the bottom and locks that into place. So that's all we have to do here. And we'll loosen this guy up, kind of get that to come together. Looks like it's pretty good. Yeah, maybe a little more. Oop, oop. Hey, you ever have that Allen key get away from you? Hexagon-y thing. Okay, let's give this a little. Let's get a little slide up. So what I want to do is I want to have room to move this thing around. And I want to be able to fasten my star sense on there. Bada bing, bada boom. Is that gonna fit? I think it does. Maybe not. Does not appear to be able to go in the hole that way. Yeah. So I'm going to have to drop it back to. Well, you know, I'm a crafty guy. I don't see any reason I can't spin this thing around. So, if you get your Z73 73, take that plate. That looks like it'll probably give me a little bit more sticking out the front. Don't need a whole lot. Gotta have some. And that'll also give you a little more to catch on up there, because I noticed when it was sitting on the mount earlier and I was practice testing the fit, it only was catching like by about 1/2 inch, which is plenty, but I'm going to push that forward. When you're in the slots, once you get those screws set, you want to push it forward, and that'll keep it from having any play. I mean, that's kind of like a handle too. You know? Tighten these down. Okay. Now this bad boy's going to go up on here. And you got a device of some kind. I'm not really sure what that is yet, a focusing mechanism. This is the focus. It has a thermometer built in. This guy's thought of everything, man. So we're just going to set this at the top of the run here, as close as we can. Looks like I got it a little bit closer. A little bit more grip on there. I'm going to tighten the crap out of that. You don't want that moving. Eat your wheeze that time. Okay, now what I got set in here is real simple. The DSLR mount for my Canon camera. 1.25 inch adapter. You can see this thing's been used quite a bit, but it goes right into the back of the Z73 73 just like so. And you can just tighten that little guy down right there. And because there's rings on that, even if it loosens up, it won't fall out fully before you notice it. So that's a good thing. So got the hand thing mounted on here with the clip that they gave me. Seems pretty good. Keeps it out of the way here because, you know, you're not going to walk around messing with that. So that's why I put it there. So let's kind of lift this thing and see what we got here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's got some heft to it. Oh man, that's probably Yeah, probably 40 or 50 pounds. So now what we got to do is put the guide scope on top of this. Ordinarily you'd have a camera hanging off the back, but I'm using a camera now to film. So we're going to take the guide scope and we are going to look at this thing. Now it comes with a bracket. This bracket's kind of cheesy and I don't think there's any way to really get it to sit on there and look good. So we're just going to jettison that. And then I'm just going to slide this up. There's a little flat square there that's meant to lock into the factory mount. But it's got a lot of play in it, so what's it really going to do? I'm just going to slide this right on up in until it hits that. And then I'm going to take the supply knob. Actually, you know what? That fits perfect. And I'm going to rack that sucker down as tight as I can. Okay, so now our guide scope is mounted and basically it is set in place. Make sure all that is nice and straight. It's kind of like everything looking straight. I guess that's just me. Now this is all the adjustments that you do. And you want to just kind of get it straight in there before you start messing around, because that is going to be what kind of controls how you adjust this camera right here. You can adjust it in your software, but this needs to be close a little bit. And I just kind of eyeball it. Yeah, it's got a triple axis. Once you get it eyeballed, then you just kind of give it an up and down. Bada bing, bada boom, like that. And then they'll all just come together. It's kind of like collimating a scope when you do the 3 screws. You want that to be kind of perfectly straight in there. That's close enough. I think I can get it adjusted out with a good star. Just kind of give that a pull. That's not coming off. Now I'm guilty. I'll say it. You guys might not like it. But you don't want that thing falling off. I'm not going to crank on it. Just going to give it a little turn. A little bit of a turn. That's anodized aluminum anyways. What are you going to do? You're not going to get but maybe 5 foot-pounds on it before it strips out. Okay, so that is the scope, the guide camera. Everything is accessible. The focuser is easy to reach. I don't have it jammed up against any knobs. Some people slide that up so far that, you know, then their fingers can't get in there. Looks like everything's fairly well tight. This is a dew shield. That comes out. It's out all the way. Now, when you adjust the focus, watch the back of this thing. Look at that. You're like, when is it going to stop? Trust me, I've already tested it. Right around here. So it runs all the way out to 93 millimeters. 93 millimeters of focus. And this thing, I'm turning it, and even though it's on an angle, there must be a spring in here because this thing's butter smooth. It's actually like lifting itself up. So you don't want to crank this down, you know, over the years, jamming that in there and opening it up all the way. Just bring it up to the back and just let it sit there. You don't want to wear it out. So, I'm going to have to do something to get pictures out of that telescope on the top, which actually it's funny because it's 50 millimeters. There's people that use 50 millimeter lenses on their cameras to do astrophotography. So I would imagine that thing will take a pretty nice picture. Let's see. Okay, now it gives you a spacer in case you have to space that thing back like that. It has some set screws in it. Kind of want to do what I always tell you. When you see set screws, back them out till they're flush, because that thing's going to wrestle with you later. Then you're going to get all pissy and you're going to do like I did. And I won't even say it. Alright, we're on. Whatever that's got to do, it'll slide right on easily. Bada bing, bada boom. And we'll take this, and this just screws right in here. Super easy. As with all astrophotography stuff, don't crank down on it. unless it's a screw holding a telescope on. Just kind of tighten it up a little. That's good. If you notice that thing loosening up over the years, you can always tighten it back up. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what we got here. See, it didn't do my thing. Okay, I'm just going to put this in straight side up. You don't have to. You can put it in upside down and be a rebel. Okay, get that set. Now, I'm seeing this little locking collar and set screws. Not really sure why that's necessary. I have a feeling it might be for spacing in case this doesn't focus properly. So I'm just going to drop that right back in. There's 2 cables in there. I'm not going to connect those right now. There's no point in doing that since we're not going to be set up tonight. Now the DSLR will hang off of the back here. So that's real simple. I did not use the star chute mount. And I did not use, there's a couple of screws here that came with the star chute. Did not use those either. The threads are different anyways on the mounting screws, so I wouldn't have got much out of that. So I'm just going to kind of put this all in the star chute box. Kind of a neat little storage for the things I didn't use, which you probably won't either. Okay, keep all my caps handy. Alright, foam in there. I'll figure out how to use that thing the first day I use it. It's nasty weather out right now. Alright, so there that goes. So basically, there you have it. Zenithstar 73, Star Chute 50mm guide scope, Celestron AVX mount. I mean, you can get a lot better stuff. You could probably find a nicer rig in half the astrophotography people's backyards, but something like this right here, I mean, it'll carry you through. You'll be at a point where you don't really feel a need to get any more spendy. You know, sure, down the road, maybe a camera that's modified I might spend my money on, or something like that. But with a Celestron C8 and a Z73, I mean, there's really nothing I'm not going to be able to see in the sky and take pictures of now because I'm all set up. And I can even put that Celestron on this AVX mount if I want to take pictures of like Jupiter, Saturn, any of those with tracking. And it'll work just fine. This thing will hold up to 30 pounds. That thing weighs about 11 pounds. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. I think it's a pretty nice piece of equipment, and I'm looking forward to using it. It's kind of crappy out right now, but I can guarantee the weather's going to clear up. It's Florida. Give it another few days and it'll be beautiful. So hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Ancient Amnesia, Angstrom Management. Check out the astrophotography we do. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you bought a rig like this, I hope it helped you out putting it together. And you saw me drop a few things and stub my toe, but now you don't have